Give me a minute.
Cough, cough.
All right, yeah. Arrange your eyebrows, everyone. We go live.
We go
We're gonna
live.
do it.
3,
We're gonna do it
4,
live.
or the 5.
My eyebrows are fixed. No, I don't know.
We're gonna do it live. I'll
Powder
write the
me.
script. We do it live. Bill O'Reilly style. Anyway, welcome back to the Bleach podcast. We're back for chapter 623 against the Judgment. That's what it
And
was.
not against the slam. Not
Actually,
against the
no.
slam.
There was a slam jam, and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a slam jam right through Nanana's chest.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the dunk of the
Xilly,
century.
you really gotta lay off those drugs.
That was not a drug. That was me letting the slam jam run free after last.
No.
After
We
last week.
all know Lemurs gave you some fucked up drugs.
No, she showed me Sesame Street. That's all. That's my drug. I don't know
No,
what
no,
it is.
that's true. That's
Is
true.
that the one with Ernie and Birdie? No.
That's Sesame Street.
Yeah, the Muppets is a different thing. But anyway.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
So this was against the Judgment. It's a slam because I decided to be silly for one podcast, and then hilarity ensued because I don't know anything about basketball. I had to look up a bunch of stuff on Wikipedia.
Oh my god, were you actually looking up basketball?
I was looking up basically like when I was making the names up, like Nana Slamming Coop and Ballerby. So I was looking up like, oh, what can I substitute here that starts with the same letter, and so I was like, like a layup or whatever, and yeah, I don't know too much. I was just like using my general knowledge from YouTube comments.
The sports, they do a lot of sports in the sports.
Yeah, sports ball. Gotta get points to win the game. Sosuke Jordan.
Game on,
Sosuke
get your
Jordan.
game on. Sorry.
My favorite is Barclay Kuratsuchi, honestly. I believe that Maya really is Barclay Kuratsuchi. But anyway, so with myself, we have you guys.
Dudes, I'm a dude
Yeah.
today. Deep voice.
Hi, I'm a girl.
Hi.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not a girl. I'm a sunny little girl.
Yeah, it's the is Schiff and Sal's here too.
Oh yeah, and I'm actually here this time. Hi guys.
I know he lives, dude. I live.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and Sal's here, and
I live
he's gonna
again.
dance. He'll dance for you later. But for now, on to the chapter.
Dance.
All right. So first part, Aizen, Ryatsu, fucking OP. That's
Actually gonna shoot down the palace.
at least he's trying.
And then a premature ejaculation. Sorry. Am I the only one that got that? Like whenever like it felt like that? Like he was like kind of looking at it going,
No.
"Oh crap, this is
no.
embarrassing."
Yeah. Oh god, my boner's still there. Oh jeez. Oh god, I gotta move it out of the way. No.
I love this. I love this one comment on the blog. It's. Were you drunk when you did this review? And Zill's response: Nope. I was just letting the slam jam itself through my keyboard and onto the screen.
Yeah. No, I don't even drink. I can't drink, and I won't. But
What do you mean you can't?
I'm 18, not 21.
Oh.
Please.
I follow the
So
letter
many
of the
people
law.
who get all messed up when they were like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah,
I've been drinking wine since I was 13. What are you talking about?
I know like a bunch of people who are gonna get drunk tomorrow night because tomorrow night's prom night.
Is it? Is it like?
Oh,
is there
yep.
like a designated prom night everywhere?
I don't know if it's everywhere, but it is for my school, and so they're gonna get crunk, and they're gonna get high, and they're gonna get too fly for a white guy, and that'll be the end of that.
They're
But
gonna
anyway.
get
not-
white girl wasted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I could have drank you under the table when I was a healthy bitch.
White
Well,
girl-
you need to take your dilapidated ass and meet me at the daggone bar then.
I could have, not
Okay.
anymore.
Anyway, back to Bleach and,
Seriously.
and slam jams, please. Away from drinking. Aside from the hilarity of seeing everyone looking like for once, I was okay with the reaction shots because it was so hilarious. Everyone's going, "Oh shit, is he really gonna do this?" It was
Oh no,
literally. It was all the non-captains like Shang-Chi is like okay whatever, but like Rukia, Renji,
We had to move Rukia back. Like,
yeah
no,
yeah
I find that I felt like going. I did feel. What the hell are you gonna do, girl? What are you?
yeah
gonna
like
do?
so it was like a Kaku, Hisagi, Renji, and Rukia are like oh Jesus fuck, but what interested me is it's very rare in the manga that we see the Reiatsu as we did like as in like a physical form, right? because generally, like in the anime, all the time they have the characters glowing blue or green or whatever, but it's hard to portray that in the manga without like putting like a blurry like gray thing over the character to show that they're a different color that isn't black or white. And so
Sorry.
I found interesting that like we got to see that, which is cool because it was massive, even though it's supposed to be contained to like a few meters around himself. He was like fuck that, and I also found interesting that it was like to my knowledge, in the manga, we haven't had a display of reality that just destroys things like that. Like
Destroyed his penis. Sorry.
Son, why you gotta be like that?
I don't know. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
I'm the dick guy here. Gosh, let me do my job.
we've seen it cause things just stop existing, but not really
Well, yes.
destroy.
Yeah, because like it destroyed the entire veil around I'm gonna call it the veil, the veil of darkness around the Serete. It was just crumbling, and if I may reference my most hated arc from you guys, the last time that I remember seeing that was in the anime when Kenpachi nuked the Serete with his power because he's Kenpachi, and I find interesting that like that we haven't that this is really the only example in the manga of that, and it fits because it's Aizen. But your guys' thoughts on this failed attempt?
Well, he did something, and then Kurotsuchi just shows up to kind of troll him.
Oh yeah,
No. Did you not see his face? His face was brilliant when he was staring at it, like when he was like looking, going, "What happened? What the hell happened to my power? What the hell happened? It was there a second ago."
His face after Underbelly hits him is even better, but we'll get to that.
Oh yeah.
He looks high, but
Not that he looks high. He looks like he did
he's
ejaculate again. It's like, come on, seriously, twice in like 2 minutes. Oh.
I love Mayuri's face though when he's just like, "Did you honestly think your power is gonna beat my technology?"
Oh
And
yeah,
Aizen's like sass right back.
Mayuri
Just
was
like,
great.
aw.
He's like, you know what? Like you're so naive, so Sky Aizen.
How often do people say that to Sosuke?
How naive? How Disneyly naive? Why do you think I've been the captain of the research squad for over 100 years? It's because in all that time, no one could defeat my restraints.
Did you just refer to Yamamoto there?
I totally did.
Okay.
All right, Sal, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a pretty interesting chapter. There was a lot of things revealed in that one. Once again, yeah, the credible usage of Ryatsu that we don't normally see, and probably the most used in the entire series since its beginning when we found out what it was. But other than that, there was the whole thing. We learned a little bit about the restraint technology that Kurotsuchi used, and we actually found out that he's the one that pretty much developed those very things that are holding Aizen at bay.
Yeah,
And
the
it's so
irony.
funny because
Oh yeah,
Aizen realizes there's a point in there where after the explanation is given, that Aizen realizes that his ability to be restrained is entirely something created in order to control him. The explanation that Mayuri gives on why that not only from what he was saying, apparently it seems that not only is the issue so much with Aizen, but for other reasons that anybody who's imprisoned on Mukin has an issue with dying as well.
an issue with dying. I don't like dying. It scares me. I'm not gonna do it.
And,
it's like moving on,
but
man.
the explanation behind why was very interesting because it kind of goes back into the whole Retsu situation as well. So they're still talking about that and how much of an impact that makes on everything.
Yeah, it comes
I
from
mean,
the heart
Mayuri
apparently. As soon as the heart is beating.
he basically points out a thing specifically about, I guess you could say, Shinigami physiology in a way, with the whole heart. I mean, currently right now, because he specifically said Shinigami, we really can't attest that to any other group. But he kind of explained, the whole thing about, the Retsu and how, it's pretty much coming from your heart and everything. And then there was the part about
Our love.
the one thing that I have been begging for in this arc.
Alcohol?
somebody showcased their daggone powers with some explanation and then died. So
Yay! Everyone wins.
that's all I asked for. Xil thought it was like impossible for that situation to even occur, and
Wait, what are you talking about? No, for Ukitake maybe, not for like a Stern Ritter, not for Nana, the most like the least important Stern Ritter of all of them, of literally all of them. He means nothing. So if you want to get out the way with it.
Snow.
Yes.
So I mean, I was actually very happy with that little bit of reveal. I thought that was handled real well, because literally that's all they had to do to showcase him, and I was kind of mad because it seemed like that was never going to happen.
Yeah.
Considering that they became somewhat of a non-entity after that whole situation with by going to the royal palace and everything like that. So it was pretty interesting that they actually kind of wrapped it up. I wish they had did something similar with Robert because it kind of makes no sense.
I was gonna say
the Necromancer.
Yeah, they could have at least given him a little explanation before killing him off.
Like I don't understand.
Here's the thing, right? So I think that because because Kubo chose specifically not to reveal his epithet before he died, and they just showed like the end, I assume he's gonna come back because otherwise he could just throw out something and like had it unresolved. So I think he is gonna come back at some point.
Well,
because
there's a whole ton of shit that's unresolved so far. But hey,
I know, but like when they introduce the Stern Raider, generally like with the exception of Shaz, they show like his Romanized name and their epithet, unless the second time in this case like Nana, where he showed the name to remind everyone who the fuck he is because he's really unimportant, and the full epithet and stuff. So I agree with Sal. That was pretty cool to get him out of the way. Also, before we move on, I think this is the first. I think Aizen was in shock that he'd actually failed to do something involving Ratsu for the first time in his life.
Well, they have a guy that specifically targets your Ratsu, so there was the issue with that there. But I think the highlight of the entire thing was the fact that Basby kind of stepped up and pretty much showed that he was the type of person we thought he was. He's not a blind zealot like everybody else. It's like he's the type of guy that follows orders, but only so much as they're beneficial. When you try to discard somebody like him with his type of personality, he doesn't take it well. So Bach has basically become his enemy, and you kind of knew that if anybody, it was going to be him because his personality didn't code like the rest of the Stern Ritter. He wasn't, some, religious zealot and all of this godlike being that gave them, this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah, he was the one that moaned whenever Uri
Yeah, he was the one that actually stood up to Hashwolf for not having a backbone and saying something when he probably should have rightly been the Dagon successor. And wasn't even afraid to go up against Hashwolf, considering not only was Hashwolf the Grand Master of the Stern Ritter, but apparently his powers involve him being able to counter a Stern Ritter's powers. So he showed no fear in that, and you kind of knew where it was going because throughout this past couple of chapters, whenever they take a minor look at whatever Stern Ritter, whatever, he was a prominent Stern Ritter featured, and he was not enjoying what was happening. He apparently was not like I think a lot of them weren't privy to what Bach was ultimately planning, and they didn't probably think that total destruction, including them, was on the menu. So yeah, I think you reap what you sow kind of situation.
Like way early on in the arc, like before we got our break and before it moved into the farewell something, like we got set up that like out of the Stern Ritter, he's the one to question things like outright. He doesn't care about like, oh, boss can get mad at you if you go and get in his face. Like they had the conversation between the four Stern Ritter, Kang, BG9, well, Kane wasn't even talking, but Mask and Basby, and it was a nice contrast to show that like he's not some docile guy who's gonna follow whatever. Because like all the other Senator who show up in that little 2-chapter series were like, oh, I have a problem, but I'm just gonna voice it like to myself and to my friends instead of voicing it to the God Emperor. And I do like that he is like kind of the more sensible one out of everyone. Like even though he is kind of a hothead and he did kill some Shinigami, that's not important in this series. They weren't named. They were rank and file. But and maybe he killed Kira, but who cares?
He's a Shinigami extinctionist.
Oh yes, but yeah, I do like that. Even if it was like expected, like I called it way back when that he would be like the guy to team up because he did offer to do that briefly when he confronted Renji and Rukia to take out Uryu. Now he has like an actual target.
The thing is, what I do have an issue with is, I mean, and this I think is something pretty much on Kubo's head for this, is that as far as diversity is concerned, he is essentially a Brimjaw clone.
Yeah, he basically is.
I don't necessarily have an issue with it. I just don't think that we need. I don't think every daggone group has a daggone Grimjaw. That's like saying.
It's Saraki again. That's what Grimjaw was as well.
Or like really, you couldn't have had somebody who was sensible and not just because he's kind of an asshole. Like he's like
sensible and an asshole.
He's sensible. Yeah, it's like we can't have somebody who can think this is not right, but at the same time be like not a complete asshole because I'm such a badass type guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So like
American.
They're kind of put in a situation with a unconscious Aizen and needing to get up to the thing because knocking the palace out of the air probably wasn't a good idea, considering that even the Sternritter were like
below them.
Sternritter was like, that thing means it's just gonna fall on top of us. That's not good.
Yeah, that ain't good. That ain't fun.
So yeah.
So going back to Nanana and his short like 5-page.
Can I say on Nanana? Can I have a wee moment? If that's okay. Right.
Okay.
Right. Here's my point on the premature ejaculation thing. I have found another thing that made it sound like it's all references to penises, because Nanana's name is the underbelly. What is under a man's belly?
That's not what underbelly means.
It means a weak spot.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like 2 words.
I'm sorry. Are your ghillie goods like made of steel?
Excuse me, son. Excuse me. If it was under and then belly is 2 words, maybe you have a point, but you don't.
No.
The underbelly of a fish.
They always have one belly. They do.
Underbelly of a fish is the weak spot.
I'm making a joke here, dude. Friggin' hell, relax. I'm not actually saying he's relating the entire thing to the meal part. God, I sound like a really bad romance person.
Underbelly is the side of something that is not normally seen. Figuratively, it means a vulnerable or weak part, similar to the term Achilles' heel.
Yeah, and I will definitely tell you that if I kicked you in the balls, you would be hurt.
Yeah, no,
but I would say she kicked me on my underbelly.
Yeah. Kick me in my underbelly. No, I would kick in the balls, but it is a weak spot.
What if I'm Urahara and I have balls of solid diamond?
Does he? Oh
yes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah,
that's Urahara though. He's
a man's man.
Also, can I also reference this fact that's also quite funny? I find it ironic that the guy who is making stuff that basically, well, supposedly as the guy that to use, he was the only guy in the nest of maggots that was locked up, and now he makes stuff to keep prisoners locked up. I find that funny.
Oh yes.
Mayuri.
You know what? I didn't even think of that, but that is a good point. Like,
it's like we need
your
expertise.
Wait a minute, you're the only one in the whole daggone prison that they exclusively locked up. You weren't even allowed to move around, and now you went out of your way of making something. I mean, I'm sure he has his little gadget that he uses to control it, and I'm sure that they would never be able to really use it on him. Not that he is that much of a danger in that department, but I find that really interesting now that I think about it.
Yeah, sorry. There you go. Sorry. Just in case I forgot it. You know me, I need to say it or else I forget, and I turn into, what was I going to say?
Penis. Penis, that's what we were gonna say.
Penis. Yeah.
2 penises. So going into the underbelly, I found it interesting, if a bit hard to understand at first because of Manga Panda. So it looks like it basically pokes holes in your Reitsu and then expands them until there's nothing left. I guess that basically means dissipating all the Reitsu around you, which in Aizen's case leaves him looking high, but apparently knocks most people unconscious, which lets Nana go for the kill.
So all that usage of Aizen was entirely pointless because, before, what's the name got it, in the back, he used his ability on Aizen, so it's like, okay, so now what are we gonna do?
Basically, he was there to destroy the creatures and pierce the veil, and then and so that I presume that the veil was meant to like lock down any travel in and out of the Serite while Bach's going about doing his business, his thingamajig. And so he did that. I don't think he's been out for that long because like no he wasn't unconscious. He was just kind of like. So I don't think it's gonna be out for too long. And
well, I don't know. He did kind of blast him.
wait, Aizen or
talking about here?
Nana?
Oh,
Aizen,
Nana,
Nana is probably dead. He got like.
I'm going on the
Perfect
fact that
one
he's dead.
through
Like Basby
Perfect.
shot him in the back, not so he, see reason. He's a liability because he is not on the same page as the rest of them that don't want to die. So there's no point for him to live. Like, I'm sorry, I don't understand people. They get on this, get on us and stuff like that about, oh, so and so's not dead. BG9 is not dead. Well,
no, BG9 isn't really alive.
Yeah, yes, but like, I remember on OP Wiki they got mad at someone at the guys for saying that someone who stabbed him in the heart visibly was dead, like, because people survive that all the time.
Wait, you actually seen his heart getting stabbed, or around?
Yeah,
his heart should be?
Her heart was separated from her body, and then someone stabbed it, and then she like fell, and and then the
Why
she
are
was in
people
blew
stupid
up.
then? Why?
I don't know. Anyway, like you said, Sal, it wasn't like hey, no. I see argument, but I have a counterexample. Exhibit A, boom. it was meant to,
Sorry.
but it was meant to like just get him out of the way because he's an idiot. Either he's a blind zealot or he literally didn't know that like Bach stole the powers of all the Sterner still in the Sterite.
Oh, maybe he was just an idiot. Maybe he was just looking to beat up Benji after he left him hanging for hours.
Oh yeah, totally. That's why he focused on Aizen first.
I think it's a little bit from column A, a little from column B, because this whole idea that these people are being left around, like, for one thing, it's like, okay, well, this is a situation where they're at war. I don't know about you, but it seems like the Exterminator are pretty much on point of, let's exterminate you. First was exterminate you with using your own powers and against you, and now it's like, let's exterminate you, just in general. That was his intention. That's what Nanana's intention was with everybody else. Leaving him alive for any discernible reason makes little or no sense.
Yeah, actually,
and not for the Sternritter there, for the Shinigami there. Like, I don't, know.
Now that I think about it, I do have one thing I want to bring up. So a lot of people on the blog were like, "Why is there all other powers? Didn't Bach steal them?"
Yeah.
And the guys like, "Oh, they're like, oh, there's so many plot holes in this." And I just want to make clear that I'm pretty sure Bach just stole their Quincy powers, not their Shrift. And here's why. So way back in like 9 years ago, when Bach, Osweiland, all the Quincy were either gemished or in somewhere impure, like Misaki, like they're all Shigetsu's. He took their Quincy powers. He didn't and that's what he used to revive himself, and restore his own power.
And that's essentially what they only had, and that's why Masaki had no blue to defend off Grand Fisher.
Exactly. And then now, if he had basically he was taking power to revive the fallen Ritter, right? But if he had taken first, he wouldn't really need to take if he only needs Quincy power to revive someone, then it seems like he can only really move Quincy powers with Osweiland, not like the soul thing that he gave them. And also, like you basically giving the elites more of his soul, more than one piece, which would give them like multiple shrift, which would be weird. And
Well,
I just think that like basically he just stole their Quincy powers, not the shrift, which is why they can still
more
fight
than
with
that,
those.
there's because I did a little bit more in depth on the way box powers work and operate as far as the canon information is concerned. It seems that everything that Zil obviously said was right.
Yay! For
But
once.
more to the point on that, it seems as if what Ashwallen does is it's not inherently a Quincy power, because what it does is it moves power, takes power from one thing, and
Yeah, like
then
Ryatsu.
takes it and then moves it to somewhere else. That's why when he did the Ashwallen, it was able to get past Hickafoon's, gate, cage of life thing,
Yeah.
which blocked Reshi and all that other stuff. So it wasn't one of those abilities. It was an entirely different ability that's not common to Quincy or whatever. It allowed him to, utilize his ability to, take power. So he's moving power from one place and moving another. So the Ashwallen, like Zil said, is essentially something that only affects Quincy powers. The general reason why I believe that it didn't affect their, their shift or whatever was because the shift is something a little it is box power given to them, but it's a unique part of that power. I can really get in deep into what Reshi manipulation is in general and so forth and so on. I'm not even going to talk about that right now, but basically the shift is something that is deeply ingrained into that particular Quincy. You have to go through this blood ritual of drinking his blood in order to get it. No one's power is the same as another Quincy, and so therefore it's not. I don't think it's as easily to take from them as, and not to mention, I don't think they would miss it anyway, based on the fact that as we've seen throughout this entire arc, they have not really used their Quincy powers for the most
Yeah.
part. So I mean, yeah, they can't you probably do the Reshi manipulation anymore. They can't do the Volstendig and everything like that because it's all gone. But as far as their shift powers, they pretty much are inclined to still have those and use them as they see fit. But I think another reason for why, um, being abandoned and so forth and so on, to this destruction of existence. On top of that, it's a little bit more personal for them because not only are you being abandoned, left down there to get crushed and destroyed with everybody else, but they have literally been abandoned by him from his usage of the Ashwallen, because the Ashwallen is fatal. It may not necessarily be fatal as in right this second, but over time you're gonna die.
Yeah, I
He
suppose
pretty
that
much
does.
took from them, gave them a death sentence.
I suppose that does like
More than they
clearly
already-
solve the problem of like how you're gonna deal with the story once this is over, because they did kill Shinigami, so you can't just be like, oh, slap on the wrist, you go and live your life freely. And I maybe it seems like Baz and the others, Baz either doesn't know he's gonna die soon, or that he wants the people who are in the Wanenreich under the Seritage
What
to
do you
survive.
mean, let them go? Like, I mean, is Baz and Lila Toto going to get a job at Starbucks? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh,
No. What I mean.
Gonna
What I
live
mean
in the
is like.
shadow, man.
I
What I
was
mean
a
is,
star.
like-
I was a stern reader. I was killing people left and right. Now I'm a barista. Like, come on.
Yeah. No. What I mean is like they're helping the Shinigami right now, right?
Right.
And so they're teaming up with them, and this is, I don't know. This might be hard for me to explain my thought process on this, but like generally it's like, oh, you helped us, so like we'll look the other way on something or other. Like maybe if it's going to like comic books, like, oh, maybe like a general anti-hero joined up with the good guys for something. But in this case it won't work because they've like killed some of the good guys. They
No,
may
this
have
I
killed
gotta
lieutenants.
answer. I gotta answer for you on this one though. I think in general in this, this arc has been all over the place for me in particular. But I think in general, when it comes to this particular situation, what we're going to see is them, along with a lot of the other background reserve guys that don't seem to make much sense for me anyway in this particular arc. I think they're going to they're not going to survive the situation. Especially if they
probably
try to
not.
kill him, they're not going to survive. They're going to be
Oh,
dead
definitely.
if you know I'm not really
Or
you
maybe
know
Mayuri's gonna get a bit
I know that
kinky
there's a
on
lot
them
of
and
Grimjaw fans out there, but I'm not particularly certain that he would survive if and when he appears.
Yeah.
The execution members, I'm not sure what purpose they serve. I mean, they really should be dead and non-existent at this point. If anything, they should be in hell. But
Oh yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
if they show up that they're going to survive. There's not going to be happy ending for certain characters. Most certainly, they will live out their usefulness in this arc, or be pretty much thrown to obscurity, if not outright killed. So
Stoned, like actual stoned, like religious stoning, like in the Bible. Oh jeez.
what?
I thought I heard you say stoned to obscurity. I'm like, what? What is he? Does he mean,
Thrown.
like,
throw
okay, thrown. I was hoping
He who
you meant
has
like
not
literal
sinned cast the
stoning
first stone.
in a series with like magical swords.
No. They
No.
will be thrown into obscurity, or they will be outright killed. I don't see them. I see them fulfilling a certain purpose, especially Grimjaw. His personality, I don't think there's much of a change there, and I
Oh
think
no,
he is who
definitely
he
not.
is. And either his options are literally to die serving a higher purpose, or to go back to Wake Mundo and not cause any trouble.
Yeah. I mean the one bit we got of him in like 5:14. No, 5:17 was when he was like, he's like, fucking Ichigo, are you there? Answer me, you piece of shit. And it's like, okay, ask Grimjaw.
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
I
funny
actually
thing is,
think
like,
that's the
let's
only
bring
appearance
him
he was
along as
referring
if he's
to.
some type of ally. Like, oh, is this one of those situations where we fought already, so we're cool now?
I don't know.
Like-
No, I bet yeah, he's basically, like I said, he's a Soraki clone. He probably wanted to go.
Yeah, it's
fight
like an
Ichigo.
Ichigo versus Rocky thing. Like, oh, yeah, Ichigo, we're gonna fight again, and Ichigo's like, hell, if we will.
I don't think so. You're literally like 2 powers below me by now. I am almost a god.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And so I guess we move on to the ending, which was expected, and that is Baz or Ballerby, Will Toto, and Giselle joining forces with the. We already talked about this really, but I just want to make.
Temporarily.
Yeah, well, I just make note that even though it was expected, even though I did call it, although I didn't call Giselle joining. I thought it was only gonna be like maybe Lil Toto and Baz.
I loved her
Oh,
face, by
but
the way.
you know
I
what?
loved her
Oh
face.
yeah, what she made Mayuri. That was so great. That
But
was
you know
so
what? I
great.
just remembered, if Nanana's dead, then he's an actual asset because she can just bring him back.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope she does. I mean, that'd be great.
Because his
Right.
power would be of very good usage to the other Sternritter.
Oh yeah, even though it's like, I think out of all the ones we've seen, it's the only like, it's maybe the second. No, it's the second like Okay, no, maybe third or fourth like directly non-offensive power we've seen.
Yeah, it's not
It-
combat oriented, but it is
Yeah.
effective at what it does.
Yeah, there's like the jail, the zombie, I guess the love technically, and now the underbelly, and everything
Its
else
purpose is to
like
incapacitate, and it does that quite effectively because you're using your Retsu, which is bad for you, and then at the same time, it's
son.
paralyzing and inducing you to pass out. So you're pretty much helpless.
Yeah,
So he can just take his time to kill you.
actually, the love doesn't count because the love has some combat abilities, but the jail doesn't, and the zombie doesn't. It's all about fighting for the people and trapping them inversely, respectively. But yeah, so and I find it hilarious if you use that on Bach.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, if Bach just lost his power for 1 second, or it became like I wonder if like him. Just like losing consciousness like that and like being unable to move would like cause him like a traumatic flashback to when he was a baby and couldn't do that, and he just wakes up a gibbering mess. Like, don't send me back there, Daddy.
Well, you
Sad
heard
thing.
it here first, people. If na 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 isn't dead, then Giselle's about to kill him.
Yep.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And I was gonna say that even though I called it, I'm still glad it happened. Like, not everything has to be like a M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Shama-lam-lam.
Yeah,
Na-na-na-na-na.
yeah, Shyamalan twist to like make it interesting. Like, even if it was predicted, like I still liked it, and so I'm glad it happened because it made sense. It made sense that it happened. Like this chapter was pretty logical within the series, so I like that.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, Mayuri is the counter sass, and I loved it. Although I do agree with people in my blog that wanted to see more of him, like of him and Aizen just shit talking each other, because that was pretty great.
You know what? It really is interesting about that whole dynamic between him and Aizen is there has been very few, if not any, really not pretty much non-existent interaction between him and Aizen
Yeah, no, before like
in the series in general.
yeah,
And-
like in Soul Society, like he's learned of Aizen's affection. He's like, oh fuck, I don't care. And then in like the Rancor arc, he was a Wake Mundo for when Aizen left.
But they've never really interacted together. Really.
Exactly, they
And
never
what's interesting about it is that there is a obvious large amount of rivalry between Aizen and Miori, the smartest guy. I would say, well, is between Yorahara and who is pretty much proclaimed, and verified as the smartest person in the Bleach series, and Miori, who probably I would say runs second to Yorahara.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And so it's so interesting that now that Yorahara's has already been established and done, so he didn't really need to even talk to Aizen. And they've already had their interactions from way back when to current time, multiple times. So there's no issue there. That's why I wasn't surprised that they really didn't have any communication because they've said all they had to say to each other.
Oh, yeah.
But now involving Miori and stuff like that, and then it becomes an issue of Miori's capabilities versus Aizen. And all standing, Miori's won. So two of Yorahara and in turn Miori have one-upped Aizen.
Hey. And it made Aizen fail, and that's pretty hilarious because it's always hilarious to see him be like, what?
And
my plans.
That's a small group of people who have put Aizen at pause. Yorahara, now Miori, physically, Yamamoto, Ishin, and even and the funny thing is Yorahara has put him to shame both in combat and intellectually because even during their fight, Aizen even admitted, had it not for the Hogyoku, he would have been dead with the way that Yorahara was using that Kido against him.
Yeah,
so
and Ichigo was by far the crowning example. Was just first of all grab his face and throw him like 1,000 miles away. Then no Salvus attacks, and then like, oh, by the way, ultimate gets a Tensho.
Yeah,
oh my god.
Ichigo manhandles him
got?
most effectively. So, that's a small club for those people to belong to. The smartest guys, probably I want to say Yamamoto, who was in a class of his own, Ishin, who's up there, and then of Ichigo, which unfortunately for Ichigo, I will have to say the only reason why he's in that class is because he is the protagonist.
Yeah, of course.
And he got the superpower from training in the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared because he Samson, they cut his hair.
And you know what the sad part about that is now?
He de-aged, which is sad.
Yep. The sad part about that is now that we know about all everything now is that he souped up part of his power to use his Fig Zanpakuto.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all that meant nothing essentially in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, because it's like, oh shit, there's someone else. Can I have it again? Just one more time?
Well,
and Aizen should want to kill himself, for being beaten by a power that he thought was so great, and it wasn't really much of anything. It was like,
wonder.
Yeah, it was like 25% of Shinigami actual power using a Fig Zanpakuto.
I still want to see. I hope that Aizen gets brought to the palace with them, and he's not just like left behind to watch from afar. So I want to see him talk with Bach, because we got like a hint of their conversation when he asked him to join. He's like, "Nah, I'm cool." I want to see them talk. I really do. I want to see it.
I know,
Wait,
but every
sorry,
time
let's
I
see, who
think I'm
talk?
gonna. Oh.
Eisen and Bach. I want them to
Oh,
see. I
oh
want to
yeah,
see.
oh, absolutely.
Oh, another thing I brought, I know we probably, I don't think we even really covered it. And we probably talked about it before, but I just
Go ahead.
looking through the interaction between, when Bach gets up there to this, the palace, and he basically comes face to face with the Soul King, and when he's talking about it, I mean, obviously between, translations and stuff like that, it's questionable about what he's actually saying. But one translation I did get from it was that he called the Soul King an incomplete god.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I said, wait a minute, incomplete? I said, oh, and then he kind of references the fact that the Soul King doesn't even have the power to escape him in this critical situation. And I'm like,
Well, he's
oh,
also missing some limbs.
and yeah, then I'm like, oh, I said, wait a minute. So then this is giving me more, and as you know, I already have a theory on the Soul King and everything like that. So this is giving me more fire to think that there are parts of the Soul King inherently missing, and that is somehow significant.
Inherently missing from birth. He was born
Yeah,
without a face.
He was born without legs and arms.
At age 6, I was born without a face.
Well, that would be true if we didn't already know that he had a right arm daggone hanging out in the poor section, but
At the Walmart of the Sarate.
I think that there's a reason that he's missing these limbs, and an incomplete god, it's kind of like he's missing limbs. He's got, seals placed on his power.
Yeah,
so
by
that
the
it's
Shinigami,
not,
no less.
Yeah, by the Shinigami. I mean, obviously there's a lot that we're missing here. I don't know what it is, but there's something just,
It does seem to be setting up for something like important because it seems like it is. From what we know so far, it does seem to imply that like at one point he was like a complete god, quote unquote, whatever that may entail in the series, where he had like Mimi Hagi and whatever these other things are called because they're all katakana, doesn't mean anything.
But there must have been some type of sacrifice. There was a reason for why he did this.
Exactly, and it seems like he was in the Soul Palace, and then the Shinigami, presumably the really powerful ones, maybe even before Yamamoto, maybe even probably prior to the formation of Godai 13, maybe before Yamamoto, came up there and placed a seal on him, like they in the same way that I don't know, presumably there's a seal placed on Jujuman to make him sleep instead of die, but. That's something else entirely.
The crazy thing is, I think the only person who probably can really explain this in any way is probably Ichibe. And for some reason, there's something there that we're not being told, and I think he knows what's up.
Yeah, and the seal is probably what broke off the limbs of the Soul King because Ukitake mentioned that the Mimi Hagi literally fell down from the sky. Which would seem to imply that, like, I don't know, they came off and they're like, wee!
His lungs?
No, the Soul King and his limbs. That's lungs. He has lungs.
And the thing is, like, he had the opportunity because, the insinuation is made that he can see into the future. And, I keep coming back to this because I'm like, why would he just be idle knowing that, Bach was going to invade the Soul Society, that this whole situation was going down? And he could have initiated any number of things. And if he can see into the future and that far into the future, he would have known it was coming for a while. And it seemed like, maybe there's a part of this insinuation that we're missing because what's the likelihood that the captain of the 13th Division would just happen to daggone intergratiate himself with, like, the right hand of the Soul King? It just seems very a random occurrence that doesn't seem so likely. That like it was all set up that way.
Oh, definitely. And
just as they planned.
Yeah, just as planned. It was all one of Tetsuchi's plans. All along.
Between issues with Kenpachi to Ichigo and his birth and his origin and everything like that to Ukitake's lung disease as a freaking spirit child. It kind of like weird that you would have any diseases like this in what is essentially the afterlife. And then his interaction with Mimi Hagi. There's just too many variables here that are all pretty much converging back to the Dagon Soul King. And then in the fact that I'm thinking the fact that he just stands idly by and did nothing while Bach invaded and stuff like that, and Bach came to the Soul King, to the palace and everything like that. It just makes me feel like, I keep going back to this, like, there's a plan that we're not aware of, and I really think that Bach is being set up.
Oh yeah,
Especially considering that the whole Mimi Hagi thing, he didn't even foresee that.
And then he like lost control of the soul. Oh, okay, Shift's gone. Oh dear.
Shift died.
But
We're gonna hold a fake funeral for him.
Yeah. Yes. But Bach couldn't even control the Soul King's power, even though he claims he is like strongest guy in the universe. Brr, brr, brr. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm stronger than you, right arm." But he literally couldn't control like the power that the Soul King that was coursing through his body. It turned into those little black things. And even though he could tell he wouldn't let them harm this. Either like he could tell them that, oh, don't harm the Quincy. It's either the Shinigami enemies or the Shinigami are inherently the Soul King's enemies. He still just kind of crumbled and collapsed and staggered and then dissolved, which it seems to imply to me that like whatever the power of the Soul King is, it's far greater than whatever Bach is capable of.
Yeah, and he's the daggone parasite daggone feeding off of something that's a little bit beyond him. The fact that he couldn't foresee Mimi Hagi
Skype
pretty
is
much.
sort of not responding on my screen.
Oh, don't worry about it.
The fact
Will
that
that
he
still
couldn't.
record, do you think?
It should, I think, hopefully. Well, otherwise just put in some funny pictures. I don't know.
Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna stop.
Cool.
The fact that he didn't foresee Mimi Hagi, means that if it's directly related to the Soul King, that he really his power is not as much as he think it is, and the fact that he, much like Aizen, kind of has this mentality where he thinks, it's the arrogance that pretty much is his undoing. He actually thinks that he can absorb the power of something that's keeping existence together. Like, come on, you can't even control your own damn people, and you're trying to keep existence together. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I mentioned that, like, in that little spiel you were talking about, when he calls him a complete god, he also said that he was going to put an end to the humiliation that the Soul King has suffered for so long, which I imagine means that, like, that apparently the Soul King has passed his glorious power, and that does seem to imply that, like, back in the day he was, like, all powerful and so cool, and now he's a shell. So there you go. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, but the question is he a shell of, and the insinuation that is pretty much put out there is that, yeah, he is a shell of probably what he once was, but I think that was, it seems to be consistent that it might have been his choice to make.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that he can't think. I'm saying that, like, I mean, it was foreign power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, the way Bach is trying to say it is like, maybe he sacrificed all that and stuff like that to get some semblance of what is currently in existence. So, we don't know the necessary reasons for why, the limbs are gone and he's pretty much static in this chrysalis thing, and, pretty much. But there's obviously something that we're missing, and it does seem to me more and more that Bach is being set up, because there is no possible way for him to keep getting all this power and stuff like that. Because there's really, without there being something else to it, because there really is nobody. I don't care how many Getsuga Tenshus daggone Ichigo throws at him. I don't think that's going to bypass the Almighty. So. There's got to be something else there that we're missing. Because
it's actually no. See, the Almighty is actually the shortened name. It's actually called the Almighty of everything that except Getsuga Tensho.
Yeah, you can't predict my Getsuga Tensho.
And then
to the face.
Also on top of that, what I was saying about all the other weird coincidences is this thing with Aizen. And I just get it back in my head. There's a little thing screaming in the back of my head, like, this is all a setup. Y'all are all gonna end up getting absorbed by the daggone Soul King and restore his entire existence back to, his original form.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Think about it. There is a lot of daggone overly powerful people in this daggone story now, between Bach and Zaraki and Aizen and Ichigo and whoever else probably on that list of people that
Who's munching?
the five war special war powers. You account for 3 of them, 2 are still uncalled for, and there's daggone Bach, and it's just like all these powerful people converging in one daggone point, and the Soul King. There's just something just not sitting right with me about the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we have covered this chapter in very in depth. I just wanted to mention something from the last one, with 622, because CNET's translation just came out. So I think this is just like to resolve something that we were talking about in the last podcast. So we're talking about how what Aizen was trying to do with Kurotsugi, because I was like, he was trying to destroy his chair because it's all powerful, and someone's like, no, he was trying to destroy the creatures. So here is.
It just would have looked better if he was trying to, and it was just like, oh, that it survived. That's what
Here we go. This is CNET. Dear me, to think that it would remain unharmed even under a direct blow from my Kurotsugi.
So he attacked the actual chair.
Yes, it seems this chair truly was created to match the crucifixion stand of Muken. It is quite the artifact. And then Renji.
Crucifixion
Why?
stand?
Yeah, Aizen is Jesus, didn't you know? He is Jordan Jesus. Renji, why that little? He hit himself with his own technique for that, because he was inside the Kurotsugi when it happened. So, first of all, it didn't hurt him. Second of all, it was for his chair.
Yeah, okay.
So also I guess the red bondage thing he was in was called the crucifixion stand. So yay. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I think it's time for questions.
Is it?
I think so. I think we've covered the chapter in pretty good detail. Over an hour, in fact.
No, we haven't. Have we?
Yeah. Yes, we've gone over everything.
Wait, questions of what now?
Questions for Sal.
I'm starting to think Son has Alzheimer's or dementia or something. Like,
I don't.
what
I have
part
it
of the
all.
daggone
I mean,
thing,
just
you were there for it, so I don't understand why you don't know that we did.
Yeah, man, just look at how many times.
No. My call recording time is frozen. Sorry.
Yeah, just mention how many times. Remember how many times you mentioned like dick this entire podcast? Jesus.
It's been very late, okay? And yeah, I did think that moment was of the holy shit moment. He did. It's late, okay? Leave me alone. Right, so it's time for questions, but these questions, what?
It's like I believe you had questions for Sal from.
Right, okay, but I wanted to do them like as a separate part and then upload them as a separate kind of.
Okay, so should we bid for all for now and then record him doing that?
Has Schiffy got anything to say? I don't remember him talking much.
Yeah,
do you have opinions? I don't think you do.
Okay.
You're one Jew with 2 opinions.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Okay. So you're saying the palace is a moon. And
yes.
It's a space station.
But it's actually a Death Star. I can see that.
Yes.
I think
go.
You ever made love to a man? No. You want to?
No, sir. Come on and slam and walk